Yeah, well, we're looking forward to it. We're gonna have to get used to these Sunday games. It's the big game on the Sunday night. We're on national TV, which is good, and all eyes will be on us. And I think we come into the week really confident. We've still got a lot of work to do. We're still building, but in terms of the group, apart from Jonathan Rodriguez, we're looking a lot more healthier. Lassiter's come back from international duty well. Max has come back really well. Uh, Eric Miller we took a precaution with Eric Miller this morning because of a loading issue, but we think he'll be okay. And Juan Mosquera's probably had his best week as well. So the good thing that we've seen this week is that the players underneath the starting 11 that have played the last 2 weeks, the Zupariches, the McGraths, the Bravos, the Smiths, João Ortiz, Christian Paredes, Kevin Kelsey, uh, Juan Mosquera obviously has not been in the team. Have I missed anyone there? They've been fantastic, and they're pushing. They're pushing to start games, and they will get games because we've got a lot of games coming up in April, May. But at this moment in time, I think what we're doing is we've got some consistency with the way we play and the selections. And apart from one or two players, I don't see many major changes to the team at the weekend.
So the transfer window closes in about 3 weeks. Obviously, your team is almost fully healthy with Jonathan Rodriguez around the corner. You have 95% of your team almost in the way you like, and the DP slots are spoken for. But if you were to strengthen this team before the deadline, is there a specific aspect of the squad you'd be looking at?
Well, I think we are looking to strengthen. I think we've been open and honest about that. We're working every hour. We're working really hard at looking at how we can keep strengthening the depth of the team, strengthening the starting 11, strengthening positions where we need strengthening. I would think you can't guarantee anything in life, but I think one or two incomings are still sort of like in our plan. And sometimes you get those, sometimes you don't. At this moment in time, the squad is healthy. There's competition for places. But we've got to make sure that we go into that long stretch where the window's closed with the right roster. And I think watching the T2 side on Wednesday night, I came away from that thinking three or four of those players need to be in and around our roster as well, because I think we've got some outstanding young players coming through, and I'm really excited about the younger end of our T2 side and the work that we're going to have to do to get them progressing. We've got obviously young player supplementary spots that are available, and I think this club invests a lot of money in the academy, and we need to start even pushing even more to bring young players through. And I watched that game and I thought, well, there's some really good young players now. I think this is the best group we've got at T2 level in terms of depth and quality and excitement. And when we talk about one or two players coming in, it could be from that side. It doesn't have to be from the outside. So that's the exciting bit.
Then from potential new players to one that, of course, is a mainstay with this club, Jonathan Rodriguez. How have you been able to keep him incorporated behind the scenes? Of course, we haven't been able to see him out of training, but
Yeah.
with so many new signings, is he able to kind of integrate with a new group?
Well, he's getting his green card at this moment in time in Uruguay, so it's worked out really well. I think my dream is to have him back in the next 2 weeks, but the reality is probably it's going to be a little bit longer. But I speak to him most days. He's working his absolute socks off. We're following a stringent plan from the medical people, and but that the thing about Jonathan is if you say to him 4 weeks, he's thinking 2 weeks. So I think that shows the type of character he is. So in my own mind, hopefully in the next month, in April, we're going to see him back on the pitch.
Phil, during the broadcast on Saturday, the mics were pretty close to you, and it seemed like any time that you guys got the ball, you were yelling for DaCosta, DaCosta, DaCosta. And I'm curious,
Was
I'm
I?
potentially, I'm just curious now that he's into a month into the club. What's your level of satisfaction with just how much he's been on ball and kind of how the offense flows through him?
I love the kid. I really do. Was it my first press conference? I called him like a cheeky chappy. He's got a real quiet, dry, funny sense of humor where he drops he drops little one-line bombs, and it's like it's really funny. He's a good character around the place. Him and Santi have connected really well, and I think there's another 30-40% to come from him. But I think what I've seen already is that we've got a player that is going to be really exciting. I love working with him every day. He wants to work hard every single day. What I love about him, you get some players that lead with the voice and some players lead with actions. And he's definitely a leader he's telling players all the time which positions to go to. And I say that from his very first training session. He's almost like a little coach on the field. And I say that because he's been brought up in a system in the top level of world football in France, where they're probably some of the best coaches in the world, come through that academy. So I think he's well coached. He knows the game of football. He understands, and he's an extension of my arm on the pitch. I feel, even in these early days, even though he's so young.
What advantages or differences does he give you compared to how you guys were playing last year with the number 10, with just how much ground he covers?
Yeah, well, I think the ground he covers, the runs he makes, the speed in which he can go forward. He's really good in 1v1 situations. He's totally different to the player we had in the number 10 last year. Equally just as good, but he's just different. And I think his movement off the ball, he's constantly on the move all the time. In the first half against Colorado last week, we asked him to play a certain way, but he's constantly on the move looking for the ball. And I feel, when you think about the characteristics of the top players, is that's what top players do. They know where the ball is, they sniff out the space, they sniff out the ball, and they have a feeling about where the ball is going to land. And he has that feeling, and he makes players around him better. And that's obviously a quality of a top DP in this league.
New Zealand just qualified for the World Cup over the past international break, and Finn Surman notably decided to stay here, earn some more starts with his team. Just how do you feel like he's been performing here as opposed to going with his national team over the past couple of weeks?
Well, we had brilliant conversations with the New Zealand coach. I spoke to him twice, a couple of weeks before the international, and I loved the way that the coach said, look, we want him to come in New Zealand. He's part of our group. He's obviously a player that they see for 2026. But he also recognizes that playing minutes for us will get him to 2026 in a better form and better shape than going to the other side of the world and probably being third or fourth choice. So I thought it was brilliant. The conversation went is that I wanted him to go, and the coach respected that, but the coach wants him to gather minutes and gain experience. And I think if Finn keeps progressing on the trend that he's doing, he's going to be a really exciting player.
Hi, Phil. Nice to see you. Much was said last year about your defense. This year at the beginning, that was also a topic. What can you tell me about Kamal Miller's role in this team, not only as a defender, but maybe as a leader?
Well, I think he's had his best 2 games in the last 2 games. I think he's just beginning to he's settled down. He's composed. I think having Finn next to him helps. I think there's a partnership growing there because of they're almost opposites in terms of the way that they play and the profile. And he's very popular in the group. I think he knows what I think of him, and he knows that his performances now need to be consistent every single week for 96 minutes. And that's the challenge in front of him, because we've got Zach and we've got Dario pushing really hard below. I mean, Dario's a starter in this league. He's one of the most experienced players we've got. Over the last 3 or 4 seasons, he's been the number 1 on the team sheet. So and he's been unlucky because he's missed throughout the first 5 or 6 games with injuries or whatever. So he's going to have to be patient. But what we've got a partnership at this moment in time that look like they're really gelling. And with Fori at left back, I think that partnership between Fori and Kamal is really good as well. So I'm happy and pleased with Kamal. I think there's another 10-15% to come from him. And I just want to see him play at his best. I want to see him play with the ball like he can. And if he does, then we'll be a better team.
Profe, español.
My friend.
Lo escuché hablar español. Él lo escuchó en TV. Yo lo escuché aquí hablar mucho español con sus jugadores. Felicidades por el triunfo de la semana pasada. ¿Qué tan difícil es para usted ahora que Kelsey anota y poner a jugador para decidir quién juega adelante, quién va a ser el
Kelsey
delantero.
Mora, sí, es un problema muy grande porque en los últimos 10 días Kelsey jugó en los entrenamientos, en un partido contra Colorado. El mejor yo he visto. Entonces, es un jugador muy joven, pero con mucha potencia. Pero en este momento, Mora juega muy bien, con muy experiencia. El equipo en este momento necesita la experiencia de Chara, de Mora, porque cuando fuimos a Nashville, seleccionamos un equipo muy joven en este equipo, en este partido. No está feliz con mi rendimiento. Entonces, ahora es el tiempo para Kelsey, para tener paciencia, pero poco a poco eso va a ser un jugador muy top. Con físicamente, tácticamente, técnicamente, es un buen jugador. Entonces, en las próximas semanas, cuando tenemos más partidos, Kevin 100% va a ser en el 11.
Otra pregunta es sobre el próximo partido. Aparentemente Houston está abajo, no le ha ido muy bien, tiene 2 empates, pero ¿qué tan difícil ve usted este partido? Es más peligroso porque
Sí.
quieren puntos, ¿no?
Sí, es un partido en casa muy importante porque los partidos después, uh, uh, los próximos partidos después, Houston, estamos afuera, ¿no? Contra Kansas y Austin. Entonces es un partido en casa muy importante contra un equipo para mí bueno, pero pidieron buenos jugadores en la pretemporada en este momento. Juega en un estilo diferente que el pasado, pero también fueron a Seattle y Columbus y no pierde 0 goals. Entonces es un equipo que con un buen entrenador que sabe que necesita ganar en esta liga. Pero es un partido difícil. Centramos en nosotros y eso. Thank you, guys.